These are tips to create a budget for a small production. So when you create a budget for the very first time for your first film project, one of the things that I'm going to recommend you is to first of all write down the type of services, the type of equipment, and the amount of people that you might need to hire for your project in order to set up your days of production. For a small film project, you probably need to find some actors, talent, a production assistant. We often refer to a production assistant as a PA. You also might need a director of photography. We call them on the set a DP. You also need money to pay the rent for a location or a studio. You probably will need a sound person or boom operator. You might need a grip for your crew. I'm sorry. A grip is a person that usually helps to break down all the equipment and is pretty much in charge of everything that has to do with the equipment on the set. You may also need additional camera equipment. In post-production, you might need an experienced editor. You also might need a production insurance to cover any emergency expenses, things that could happen on a film set. You might need also to have money for snacks, drinks, and food that you have on the film set for all your cast and crew members. So believe it or not, during those 3, 4, 5, or let's say 7 days of production, you really need to provide, simple things like snacks, drinks, and food. Okay, so just keep that in mind. You don't want to have people leaving your set, and drive their car 30 minutes away to find food. It's always better that you provide, the basics. Water is always a must in any film production. Snacks, fruits. Usually go with healthy snacks, because most of the actors that I work with before, they are, they're vegetarians, and they are all about healthy food. So you might need to find healthy food for everybody, so they stay there and they can work and they don't faint. So that's very important. So this is my first step. On the second step, you're going to conduct a research. You need to check the standard price or the salary for each specific service. The same applies to equipment and anything that is related to your production that you need to finance. So I really like this website. It's called salary.com. When you go online and you type www.salary.com, you can find out how much is the pay rate of a position based on that city in that state. That way how much would you pay an actor, how much would you pay a production assistant, how much would you pay a DP, a director of photography, and so on. You can also ask your peers. You can also ask small companies in the industry how much they are paying for the different positions that they hired before. That way the standard price for a specific service. Step 3 is take into consideration that when you hire people, keep in mind the years of experience of that person that you are about to hire. Also look for the reviews online. For example, if you want, and I use this example many times. For example, if you would like to hire someone like Julia Roberts, to portray the main role in your short film, her manager will probably charge you no less than $20 million. So if your budget is only $50,000, then forget about Julia Roberts, because you won't be able to afford her salary. Okay, so that's the reason why you have to choose wisely the people for your production, because it's all about money. If you choose to hire a less famous talent, then you can definitely negotiate her or his salary to work in your short film. So try not to, if you don't have the budget, try not to shoot for the stars and ask to to work with someone as experienced and as famous as Julia Roberts, because chances are that you're not gonna get her to work with you, at least with this example of the amount of the small budget in the amount of $50,000. Step 4 will be, you must know your numbers. For example, the regular price to have one PA, production assistant, on a film set can cost from anywhere from $150 all the way to $250 per day. It could be more. It depends on the city, on the state, but that's the average, that's the range. Okay, so if you have a short film that requires the service of a PA for 5 days of work, you will then need $1,000, meaning let's say that we're paying this PA $200 per day, So you need only $1,000 to cover the expenses or the salary of a PA, to have a PA for 5 days in a row. Okay, so that person can work with you those 5 days. So I hope this makes sense. So that's how you build your budget. You think about how many days I need this person and how much is the rate. So you multiply how much is the rate per day and how many days you need all these people. You might need to have, to rent all the locations for your short film, and you have to also count how much it's gonna cost you per day to rent additional equipment for your short film. Okay. So pretty much this is like a small instructional, like a short, I would say, instructional video on how to put together, or tips to create a budget for a small production. Eventually in your next classes, you're gonna learn more about this, and you're gonna practice with your own projects. But this is just a useful video for you to know where to start. Okay. One last thing, in the film industry, most of the times you're gonna get paid by day or by salary and not by the hour. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I hope this was helpful.